Welcome back to the ICF series on the new ethical standards as of 2025. And we are doing section number 5, which is about integrity and accountability. And I'm really excited to have Cathy Liska with me today. And Cathy is an MCC. She worked on this standard and she worked on all the standards, but was most excited about this one. So Cathy, why don't you start out by telling us why you're so excited to be in this particular video about section number 5?
Yeah, absolutely. So standard 5.3 is my absolute favorite standard. I love it. I believe it sets the coaching profession apart from other professions. I think it is incredibly, incredibly important for every single one of us as coaches.
Okay, so we're going to get to 5.3, but first we're going to start with 5.1 and we're going to go through these one by one. So 5.1 really is about accurately describing what your credential is, and who you are, what coaching is, what coaches can achieve. So tell us a little bit about this section.
Yeah, so identifying coaching qualifications. A common mistake that happens is there are a lot of schools that will have a program and they give you a certificate as a certified professional coach. And so the acronym is the letter C, the letter P, and then the letter C. What they'll do is reverse letters. ICF has a credential that is called the PCC, and people will flip their letters and they'll call themselves a PCC when they're not a PCC. And so they've inaccurately identified themselves. So that's one example of what happens.
So that person may be an ACC really, or they may not have an ICF credential at all because they've gotten something from their school, but they haven't yet taken the test or gone through the ICF process.
Exactly. Which brings up on a similar basis, people will do a training program at a school and then they will call themselves an ICF certified coach. Well, they're not certified by ICF, they're certified by their school. Until they've earned the credential, they're not an ICF certified coach. Earning the credential is more than the training hours at school. School programs do have the mentor coaching. You have to get assessed on a recording, you have to log coaching hours, and you have to take the exam that you referred to. So there's a lot more involved in earning a credential. And ICF has 3 different credentials they issue, the ACC, the PCC, and the MCC. None of the schools have a program that's those same letters. It's just that people will reverse them sometimes. And it's really important because it's who you are, what you offer.
Yes, and also because this does talk about the entire ICF ecosystem. This is talking about the schools are just as responsible for following these ethical standards as the individuals are. But let's take a look at 5.2, which is about the statements that you make. Tell us a little bit more about this one.
Yeah, and of course this is challenging because people are promoting themselves as a coach and they want to put out this positive message and, hey, this is this wonderful thing and that kind of thing. Well, the challenge is you can't promise anything because you simply don't know. Ultimately, what a client achieves through coaching is based on that client. It's their choice what they're going to do and whether or not they follow through, etc. So what can a coach do? Well, you can share the research, you can share the studies, you can talk about the average return on investment and that information. You cannot promise that if somebody hires you as a coach, they're going to have a particular result or outcome.
Yeah, and that's so common these days. You'll see on the internet commercials guaranteeing that you'll lose weight or guaranteeing that you'll make $1 million if you just follow this program. It's not really ethical to make those claims. It's not going to be a guarantee to have it happen. Well, let's go to 5.3, which is your favorite about doing good.
Yes, I love that. And if you think about it, we all grew up with this idea of, in the medical profession, do no harm. You hear that in different ways. There's a lot more to it there than just those words. That's what everybody knows and remembers and understands. This particular standard says go further, proactively do good. I don't know of any other profession out there that has in their standards for people to proactively do good, seek opportunities to make a difference. And there's so much every single one of us can do. I can't fix the whole world or save the whole world. I can do things within my sphere of influence.
Yeah, earlier we kind of talked about not going up to you having your toes on the line of an ethical standards, but to really exceed the ICF ethical standards. And I think that's really a lot of what this one brings home is the do the best you can. So I think we were chatting earlier, you had some other examples with equity. And
this has been my favorite standard since it came out with the last ethics review. It's in our current code of ethics too. And I talk about it, I write about it, in fascinating conversations with student coaches. People love the standard. So one of the things I've written about is, okay, I'm one person, I can't fix the whole world, what can I do? And there's 5 things I put out there that you can do to proactively do good. The first one is learn. Learn about diversity, learn about inclusion, learn about regard, learn about cultural awareness, access barriers. Get yourself educated. Now, of course, we do have the requirement for continuing education, etc. I'm talking proactively going out and learning new things, new areas, and in particular, these areas. Then the second thing you can do is self-assess. Evaluate yourself. Hey, where am I at? And there are online assessments you can take to learn about your own biases. You can simply take time to stop and consider, hey, what am I doing? How am I coming across, etc. And that leads into number 3, which is having a self-reflective practice, which is part of our competencies, is having that self-reflective practice and really considering, hey, what am I doing? What's the impact of what I'm doing and how I'm doing it? And then communicate your openness. So for example, if a client's looking at your website, are they seeing all pictures of white people? Or are they seeing diversity? And there's more to diversity than visual diversity. There's a lot more. And so the language you use on your website is important too. And consider how you're communicating what you offer. And then the 5th thing you can do, and I think this is really huge on doing good, is how can you increase access to coaching and to coach training? So a lot of the coach training schools that are accredited by ICF, a lot of us will do scholarships for people. There are a lot of people that will do sliding scale or pro bono coaching or work with nonprofits. There's so many ways that in addition to serving clients, and yes, everybody has to make a living, you can also be giving back and increasing access for people who cannot otherwise afford it.
Well, thank you so much, Cathy, for bringing us this information about section number 5. There's one video left in the series about the Pledge of Ethics and a little bit of a recap. So we'll see you all in the next video.